Happy New Year and welcome to Friendly Differences 2.0. I am your outspoken host, Dread Empath, and with me as always,
Solid Blue Sister.
I hope that everyone had a happy new year. I hope that if you are being a new year, new you, keep it going throughout the year. Do not cancel that gym membership. We have a special show for you today. Today is January 6th, 2024, and it is the 2-year anniversary of the January 6th insurrection. You know, the one that they trying to call a field trip, that one. And today we are also talking about if we are leaving democracy and walking into a dictatorship. Happy New Year, Solid.
Happy New Year to you, Dre. Happy New Year. 2024, I think is going to be full of a lot of drama.
Oh,
We are going to have some surprises. I think some people are going to be unhappy. Some people are going to be happy on both sides of the aisle. I think that 2024 is going to be a very challenging year um, for a lot of reasons, but democracy is front and center. And yeah, but let's talk about January 6th, though. Let's just start us off with something that looks like this.
well, um, do you remember where were you that day? Did you get a notification to your phone? Were you at home and it came up on TV? What were you doing?
Actually, I was at home and I was watching the news because usually no one pays attention to the certification of the ballots.
Hmm.
But for some reason, this was going to be a thing to certify the ballots. And I had the news on, and all of a sudden it was breaking news. And I saw, Trump make his little speech about I'll be there with you. We're gonna march down to the Capitol, whatever. And they showed them marching to the Capitol, and then all hell broke loose. So I had been watching TV.
Okay. Same here for me. I had been having a little fun, and I'm sitting there watching because I'm not even going to lie to you, Solid. The pandemic turned me into a different person. I had CNN on my TV, no lie, 8 hours a day. When I wasn't watching CNN, I was playing a video game. I didn't want to miss anything from COVID coverage to everything else. So I'm sitting there bugging out, and I'm like, they're storming the Capitol. I was like, yo, they're storming the Capitol. I called up, I have family in Baltimore and DC. I called up like, yo, they are storming the Capitol. Turn on the TV. Cause they probably was like, hey, Dre, you tripping over there? I'm like, no, they storming the Capitol. And I was watching it and I could not believe what I was seeing. You have to remember that in my lifetime, I saw 9/11. I was 15 when 9/11 happened. They came on the speakers in my high school and said they just bombed the Twin Towers. My mother did not get home until maybe 11, 12 o'clock that night because she worked in Jersey City, which is 20 minutes from uh, New York. She could hear people jumping out of windows, screaming.
Mm-hmm.
So again, just like we didn't think 9/11 could happen in our lifetime, never would I have thought that we would have seen people storm the Capitol, breaking windows. They were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." And what absolutely blows my mind is that these people are now acting like we did not watch this live on every channel.
Well, you know what got me was, and this is, and but if you notice, they don't talk about it anymore, and we were just talking about, Black Lives Matter, whatever. It was Black Lives Matter and Antifa. It was Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Okay, that's all they wanted to say, is it was Black Lives Matter and Antifa. And first of all, we both know that if it was Black Lives Matter, it would have been a whole bunch of dead bodies laying across the Capitol, and they never would have even been able to get in. But then it went from Black Lives Matter storming the Capitol to, oh, these are just peaceful people. See, when people weren't buying the whole Black Lives Matter thing because people saw what was going on, the entire world saw what was going on, then all of a sudden they turned into peaceful protesters. And the whole time that this was going on, the news station that did not report it at all was Fox News. So let me ask this. If it was Black Lives Matter, Fox News would have been all up in it, all over it, showing black faces all over it. But yet it was Black Lives Matter, but yet they did not show anything from January 6th on January 6th. They were reporting something else. The entire world was showing this on TV.
I think that's because, see, I followed the hearings and everything, and it's already come out that Sean Hannity was texting Trump, like, you got to call them off. You have to say something. Ivanka, hey, everybody was trying to get him. They're like, hey, you know that they're going to listen to you. Call them off. They were begging. That's why, and up until recently, Fox News and Trump was like peanut butter and jelly. Trump could do no wrong. Fox News could do no wrong. But we know that Trump is, flakier than a beef patty. People turn on in a heartbeat. So it's like, I think that they're downplaying the fact that people died during and after. There are officers that took their own lives because they couldn't deal. What was the name of the Capitol police officer that died? I believe his name was Brian Slicknick.
Yes, yes, yeah.
He got hit in the head with a fire extinguisher. And he died 2 days later. And get this, because I did some digging. He was a Trump supporter. He supported Donald Trump. And look at the irony that Donald Trump supporters were the cause for his death. And then Ashley Babbitt, the white woman who was a veteran, came from California to Washington, D.C., didn't just come from there, drove from California to DC. And I remember having arguments. I had an argument with a coworker about this. He stopped speaking to me, and me and him we're cool now, but you could tell that he's still big mad because I ended his argument. I said, she drove 3,000 miles to break the law. She was killed in the commission of a crime. I said, take the L, buddy. Just like we had to take the L for Breonna Taylor, Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, Eric Gardner. I said the list goes on and on.
But I mean, Dred, but when you look at January 6th and you have all these Trump supporters who were beating up police officers who the day before Blue Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
But on that day, Blue Lives didn't matter. You know, I don't think people truly understand. And I'm talking about a lot of people out there. I am talking to someone who we had this conversation with last week. Truly understand what it means to vote, what it means to get out there and truly understand that you can lose freedom, democracy. Um, that's all on the table this year. And like we say, you don't vote, whatever, keep your mouth closed.
Now, as per our caption, ladies and gentlemen, we are leaning away from democracy and into a dictatorship. Now, I don't want this to be inflammatory or anything of the sort, but understand that Donald Trump said that he would be a dictator for one day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that it'll just be for a day. He's already said that he's going to indemnify the police.
But look at how much damage you can do in 24 hours. You can do a lot of damage in 24 hours.
Oh, absolutely. You declare martial law. If he were to declare martial law while simultaneously indemnifying the police, it'd be a lot of us that.
But that's where. But see, this is what I'm saying. So we are turning into we will turn into a police state nation. Our country will be, we will be the Russians, we will be the North Koreans, we will be China, we will be all of those places. And we will also be Israel, where you'll have one particular person fighting to control and take land of all these other people. And I am going to say this, and a lot of Black people not going to like it. And I'm talking to the rich ones out there, the entertainers, the athletes, whatever, the Oprahs, the Tyler Perrys. Y'all need to consider that if we turned into a dictatorship and a police state, they don't need a reason to come and confiscate your property. They don't need a reason. They don't need a reason to come and freeze your bank accounts. See, you can freeze my bank account. I'm gonna be pissed. I need my money, but freezing my bank account and freezing your bank account are two entirely different things.
Yes, it is.
So
look, you can take my little $680.
You know, so these are things that people need to talk about. And what did H just say?
And they complain about socialism while they push the dictator tyrant aspect.
Correct.
Very correct, Ace. And you know what? A lot of these fools, they don't even know. You ask them what socialism means, and they can't even tell you. They don't even know. They're parrots. They have no idea what socialism even means. Okay. I would like to think that those people would be good. They are more prepared than we are, honestly speaking. Okay. I think that you kind of missed the point on that.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at what Ace said. 680, I got about $30.
I didn't know. I'm just 680 was just the number. I assure you, I do not have 680 in my account right now. I'm waiting for AT&T to take their money, and then I'm gonna be like this.
But all right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You have to think, Marlon. What did she just say? If it turns into a dictatorship, all of those things, now we heard that they built bunkers and whatever else. But what good is a bunker when you run out of food and your account is frozen and you don't have access to money? What would happen to the Tyler Perrys and Oprahs and Steve Harveys and Jay-Z's and Beyonce's? They haven't had a hungry day in the better part of 20 years. We know about eating ramen noodles. We know about getting a pound of ground beef some spaghetti sauce, some noodles, and making it stretch. They don't know about that. We do.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't speak on it either. And see, people say that celebrities should stay out of politics. I beg to differ because they vote too, right? They live here as well. One utterance, Taylor Swift, one utterance told people to go out and vote.
And that's true, because we also see, in my opinion, and I know we're getting off the January 6th thing, but we also see how much Ice Cube did damage in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with his crazy talk, the Kanye West, the damage that they did. You know, so I don't know, but
they enable things like January 6th.
Yes,
they enable that.
Yes,
because
yes.
They were quick. They said they have something to say about this, but they didn't want to come out and talk about the fact that Trump let these people storm the Capitol for almost 4 hours, but you maced and tear gassed Black Lives Matter protesters so you could take a picture with an upside down Bible. Nobody thought about that, and people get mad. I don't care, because if pissing people off was a job, I'd be a millionaire myself. Nobody pays attention to the hypocrisy. Had it been Black Lives Matter protesters trying to keep Trump from being president, it would have been very bloody. If it would have been a bunch of Arabs or Muslims, it would have been very bloody. Had it been a bunch of Hispanic people, it would have been very bloody. Those people had the complexion for the protection. And I mean, if we're going to talk about horrific things, they went in there and smeared feces on the wall. They carried a Confederate flag into the Capitol. They're treasonous, and they don't even realize it. I think one of them stole Nancy Pelosi's laptop. They took documents. They took a laptop. They were all through that place. It was disgusting.
Okay, but you also forgot one thing. When they finally got to the floor of the House, remember, before they started doing anything, they stood there and they prayed.
Pray for what?
Remember that? Remember when they were praying? They were praying for our country. Which I thought was Okay, now Marlon says, I don't understand how people can't understand what Jared just said. It's the truth. Yeah, and it's the truth that you also need to vote. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing that out there, that you also need to vote. So you can't say that this is truth on one hand and say, no voting on the other. I'm just saying.
Marlon, you have to understand something. Why people, it's not that they can't understand. They don't want to understand. They don't need to understand. See, when you're white in this country, white privilege goes much deeper than being pulled over by the police. White people have the privilege to do what happened on January 6th. We don't have that privilege. We don't have the privilege of being pulled over for a taillight being out. They have the privilege of fucking around and finding out. We don't. We don't have that privilege. But see, they don't want to see the hypocrisy. Who said it? What president was it? Harry Truman? I forgot which one it was. But what did he say? If you can convince the lowest white man that he is better than the best black man, he will not notice you picking his pocket.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what January 6th is, or was. They didn't realize that Trump was picking their pocket. Trump is still picking their pocket.
He's paying his legal fees with their donations, whatever.
With their donations, right?
Anyway. So we're talking about Black Lives Matter. So let's talk about this for a moment.
Okay.
So Joe Biggs from the Proud Boys is going to prison for 17 years for the so-called insurrection. Tell me, how many Black Lives Matter rioters who were totally violent and burned down all our cities got prison sentences as long as that, huh? Great question. The number of Black Lives Matter protesters who were convicted of seditious conspiracy to overthrow the federal government and were sent away to prison for 17 years is exactly equal to the number of Black Lives Matter protesters who actually committed seditious conspiracy to overthrow the federal government. And that would be 0, a big giant goose egg. And for the record, not a single city in America was literally burned to the ground during the protests of 2020.
They spin their own narrative.
Yes, they do. Yes, they definitely do. But I also want to share this. See, y'all, I'm getting better.
She is.
Oh boy.
Don't worry about it, y'all. It's gonna happen.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna hide and hide.
Wow. I will tell you though, I do love when you ask one of those supporters, if what you say is true, why did Trump appointed justices and judges say that XYZ? They're corrupt, they're rhinos. That's why when we say that it's a cult, that's exactly how they behave. This man can do no wrong, none. You're muted. Unmute.
I was part of those protests. It's funny how the pictures were painted of us right here in my city, but it was not even remotely the full picture. It was a warped version that best suit their needs. Yes. So I just want to know, you have a lot of Trump appointed judges who, when he was trying to protest the election, kept saying, I need proof. Well, we're going to get it. I need proof. These are Trump appointed judges.
Yes.
Who voted against him. So is there some consciousness there? Is there some consciousness saying that, yeah, you appoint us, but we still got to have some law and order here. We still have to have the rule of law. What the January 6th protesters did compared to what other people did who may have burned buildings, whatever. Like they said, you did not enter. You did not try to interfere with the Constitution. Basically, they were just burning a building compared to what January 6th people did. They were violent. They were beating up people.
Yes, they were. One police officer, Falcone, I believe his last name is.
The one with the tattoos.
Yeah. I think he had to pretty much step down. He was tased with his own weapon. He was beaten. And it was dozens of police officers. If you go back and watch some of the video, you see some of the videos, you see a cop, they have him pinned against the door. He's screaming his head off. And they just didn't care. They did not care. And Trump was at the center of it. Blue Lives Matter did not matter. Those police officers' lives did not matter, because had those police officers been with the crowd, oh, he would have ate it up. Their lives didn't matter because they weren't willing to give that man what he wanted. He's a huge toddler. And the fact that he can't see, well, he's a narcissist, so he won't be able to see that. But here's the question, and my correction, folks, it's been 3 years. 3 years since the January 6th insurrection. Could it happen again? Could this happen again?
Yes, it could. I mean, this is what we see. This is, this is what happened. This was not staged. These were not actors. This was not a cast of thousands, but it was thousands of Trump supporters who were trying to overthrow the government. And it most absolutely can happen again.
Do you think it'll be worse?
I think it will be worse, because like they said, this was their dress rehearsal, and now they're like, well, we did this wrong, or we should have done this, and we should have done this, and they're going to tweak. And another thing that I would like to bring up, because I know that when people watch this, and some of the comments that we always get when people watch the replay, people are going to say, Silent and Dread, you guys were being very biased. You kept saying Trump, Trump, Trump. You all were not being fair. But I think we are being fair, because this is what happened. We're not lying about what happened. You did not see Black Lives Matter protesters in Kevlar vests and bringing guns or batons. They weren't beating up police. They didn't have tear gas. They didn't come, even though you're not supposed to bring guns into DC, some of them had them. They were not bussed in by Clarence Thomas's wife. They were not financed by people whose relatives were on the Supreme Court. They did not do any of that. Black Lives Matter did not call up the senators during the impeachment trial and threaten their lives of their family and what have you. They didn't do that.
Right.
So you're talking about being fair. We are being fair, because this is what happened. Black Lives Matter was blamed for this, then all of a sudden they weren't. And all of a sudden you have all these mega people who are in jail now serving prison terms because of what they did. So when people say that you all are not being fair,
okay, and I'll bring it up again. You want to bring up Black Lives Matter, this isn't fair, that isn't fair. We watched a group of protesters exercising their First Amendment right to peacefully protest, walking down the streets of Washington right after the murder of George Floyd. And what did Trump do? He didn't just get police, he got SWAT to beat these people, to tear gas these people, so he could take a picture in front of a church that he's only been to one time. But you watched your supporters not only stand outside the Capitol, you egged them on to go to the Capitol to say, hang Mike Pence. Then you heard them saying, where the F is Nancy? Now, just because you don't particularly like someone doesn't mean that you see to it that they are done harm. You watch these people. Everybody asks, what would have happened if those members of Congress, and I say all members, Democrat and Republican, at the end of the day, these are Americans, not just human beings. We are all Americans. What would have happened if members of Congress did not get out of there before that mob got in there? It would have been a lot more people gone. So please, before anyone says that we are not being fair, it is not fair that, hey, Ashley Babbitt was human. I'll give you that. But she was a veteran of our military.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you are no longer part of the military, they hold them to a higher standard. But she came 3,000 miles to break the law. It's her. She's part of the problem of why police officers lost their lives, why they had to leave their profession. So don't talk about what's fair and not fair, because Trump is talking about, hey, I'm going to pardon people from January 6th. But those same Central Park men that were exonerated, he said they're still rapists.
And not only that, is he is still calling for their execution, even though they were proven through DNA evidence, through evidence that they were innocent, and they spent years in jail. Now, Ace says you cannot compare BLM to January 6th. BLM is because the governor came into our backyards and destroyed our lives. January 6th, they went into the governor's backyard.
Right.
You're right.
Invited by the head guy.
Yep.
And I don't know about any of you, but I'm starting already to have anxiety for 2024, because what I am worried about, when you don't remember history, is doomed to repeat itself. Go back to 2016, when Trump would just not shut up, and he still just won't shut up. He hasn't shut up since, it's really been 3 years. He still has not shut his trap. And I want you guys to think about this. He could win. I'm tired of hearing people say, oh, he doesn't have a chance. Please, he could win. We didn't think so, and look what happened. He won. And had people taken it seriously, January 6th may not have happened.
Oh, you know what, though? I took 2016 very seriously, and had other people taking it seriously, we would have a much different country. A lot of people did not like Hillary Clinton for whatever reason, but I can tell you one thing, our country would be in a lot better shape than what it is now. So to those people who complain about 2016, those people who complain about 2020 and you didn't step up.
So what do you foresee? Because I just want to tell our listeners, 2024, y'all going to hear a lot from us. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to get angry. But what do you foresee this year, Solid?
I see another Boston 2023 Tea Party. I think that Boston surprised a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Didn't surprise us, it surprised them. And if you notice, they don't talk about that because they know that you were wrong. You were wrong. It was right there. You were wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. That I think that people are going to be surprised that you just try us. You just try to push us a little bit too much, and we're going to have some chairs flying, and maybe a little bit more than that. I do believe that Trump could win, but I don't believe it's going to get that far. And we've talked about it. I told you why. But at the same time, I think that people are truly at this point sick and tired of being sick and tired. I think that it's been 500 years of, you know what, y'all not going to do this anymore. And I think a lot of people are going to be surprised. I think that we could very possibly have a race war. I know that's what a lot of people on the right want, especially a lot of the Trump supporters want. And again, I think they're going to be surprised. I think they're going to be surprised.
Fair enough.
Oh, and I just want to, can I, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to, no, you go on and then I'll do what I was going to do. Go ahead.
Me personally, I am preparing myself in my own way because I feel like nothing has gotten better as far as the division. It's like the tension. And it's not just racial tension. It's tension between the right, the left, the progressives, the conservatives. It's just tension all over.
It's
And
too much.
It's a powder keg.
Mm-hmm.
And 2024 is going to be the year that the powder keg explodes. Now, what I am worried about, if Trump does not win, or he is taken off of that ballot, off of enough ballots that he can't run, what next? Will we be safe?
You know what? That's where, again, I say to certain people, don't assume. Don't assume. One of the biggest growing, or one of the largest growing club in America in the last 2 years, just like Black women are the most educated women in this country, Black women have become some of the most armed in this country.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So again, I say, I think that again, 2024 is going to be a mess. It is. No matter, it's going to, some people are going to be happy, some people are going to be sad, whatever. But if Trump is taken off the ballot, it'll get messy because they are not happy and they want to cause trouble. And yeah, we're going to have a Boston Tea Party around the entire country.
Well, I am pro 2A. I've always been.
You know,
you can only pull a rubber band so far before the tension builds up so much that it snaps. This just might be the snack, crackle, and the pop. I agree, Ace. I agree. I've been dreading 2024 coming because I'm just like, okay.
You know, I haven't been dreading it because, you know, once again, I just think that people are going to find out. People think that, you know, I just think that people are just going to be surprised that that little old lady down the street that you thought, you know, who came and cleaned, who came and cleaned your house for 50 years, and you know she was, you know, yes sir, no sir. All of a sudden, you know, it's like, what did you just say to me? I think that's what I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But one thing that I wanted to share really quick, when we were talking about the BLM thing, all right. I just got to get it up close on this. I just wanted to point that out. So, but Trent, let me ask this. If we were to invite, which I want to do, and you said that you would be willing to do it too, a white nationalist on our show, do you think they would come?
Hell no. I could be wrong. But
I mean, you don't think that and again I am going to say this. We would be respectful. But I just, you know, I want them to come on to the show. I want them to come onto the show. I want somebody from the Proud Boys, the 3 Percenters. You know,
you're gonna have to let me smoke on that show.
One of these shows, you know, that just to come on and just, I just want to know why why do you feel the way that you do? Why are your views the way that they are? And just try to have, and again, I say try to have a conversation that is mature. No one's cursing anybody out. No one's calling anyone names or racial slurs or anything like that. I mean, to seriously just to say and just answer the question why. And I'm being totally serious. I'm being honest. Just why. You know, and I'll even put it like this. For me, I wouldn't even say have a BLM member on or anybody else. It would just be me and you, and we want to have two of them on, so it would be fair. So it'll be fair and balanced, as Fox News likes to say, you know, whatever. But just to say, why can you come onto this show and not talk down to anybody and just have a conversation on why your views are the way they are? We can talk about January 6th. We can talk about BLM. We can talk about the protests. We can talk about George Floyd. We can talk about a lot of things, but just have a conversation.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm willing to do that.
You know, and A says they actually might have had a conversation with some that I never thought would speak with me.
Listen, I'm not afraid to say it. It's true. I've been accused of being an angry Black woman. Okay, I'm just very passionate. I'm just very passionate. So I don't smoke the ganja anymore. I'm about 2 years clean.
No, I'm just saying that
it was. I get it. You want to see, that is the biggest question of why you have, and I get it. You would have two educated Black women here, not yelling, not screaming, not cussing, nothing. I'm listening to you. Okay, so why do you feel this way? You know, what gave you, you know, I understand, you know, but it's looking at someone that you know hates you and would hang you from a tree if they got the chance. They would drag you behind a car if they got the chance. They would take your virtue if they have the chance. I'm just saying.
I mean, but again, this is where I say that with friendly differences, and not just with friendly differences, just having the dialogue. One of the problems we have in this country, in this entire world, is we don't have the dialogue, or people don't want to have it. And it's like, why not sit down and just talk to me and tell me why? Why do you think you're better than me? Why do I think, you know, this or this, or, you know, just, and you can ask me things, you know, why this, right, why that, you know, whatever. Just sit down and have a conversation on why. If you want it, once you leave the show, you want to call me all kinds of names, you know, that's your business. But again, you know, just why?
Okay.
I mean, that's all I want to know. So I will say that right now we are officially putting the word out that we are asking for someone from the Proud Boys, someone from three percenters, or some of these other groups to come on and say why.
KKK,
we have a passion way of speaking, and people automatically label it as angry. Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. You know, so
all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the 45-minute mark. We are going to be doing shorter shows. You know, less is more. But we're also going to be coming to y'all a couple of times a week, not live, but posting some videos, because we want to stay in your algorithm. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, tell your friends. Get the word out. We speaking facts here.
We are speaking facts, but before we go, I want to just end with one more video.
You got it.
We hesitate even to bring you these pictures because they're so awful, but it's happening and you should see what it looks like. These are protesters. This is the mob outside Justice Samuel Alito's home in Virginia. They're disgusting. But actually, if you take 3 steps back as historical events go, if we're being honest now, January 6th barely rates as a footnote. Really, not a lot happened that day.
Democrats are now reversing course once again, and they are supporting acts of political violence. As we speak, far-left agitators, they're trying to harass, intimidate U.S. Supreme Court justices and coerce them into saving Roe v. Wade. It is a disgusting, repulsive, despicable attempt to destroy the independence of our nation's judiciary. The vast majority in Washington, D.C. today were peaceful. The overwhelming, the 99%, as we say.
If I could roll my eyes harder, I would. They are so exhausting. But yeah, the hypocrisy is right there. It's right there. But you know, Hannity is Trump's boy. You know, I think he gives him neck kisses at night. You want to take us out?
Hey, lovely butterfly, welcome. You know, okay. So, yeah, everyone.
Finish your thought. I ain't rushing you.
I'm just, I truly just don't get it. I truly just don't get how millions of people, I guess it's like that accident that you see on the corner. 6 people were there. You get 6 different views of what you saw. But there is some truth when everyone is actually telling the story of what they saw. There is some truth. They tend to say the same thing, but it may be a little different. But this is just completely apples and oranges. And I'm
still on the fact that Tucker called them disgusting. They were just standing there.
I mean, it was this mob of people. January 6th was a mob.
Yeah, but they call them solid. Before we go, now they're bringing out new footage of the police leading them this way, them walking, and I said, y'all sure they wasn't escorting them out after they did the damage?
First of all, the footage that they're showing, they were escorting them out. They weren't escorting them in. They were not coming into the Capitol. They were escorting them out. That's when the police finally came and they were escorting them out. And that's actually not new footage. That's new footage that Mike Johnson put out for his right-wing people. But that footage has actually already been seen where they were being escorted out off of the property.
And don't forget they're going to be blurring their faces as well, so they don't want the Justice Department to come after them. But it was peaceful. Why would the Justice Department go after peaceful protesters? Right.
So anyway, Dre, you want to take us out?
We want to thank everyone for being with us on this Saturday. If you are on the East Coast, then you know that we are currently experiencing snow. Solid is laughing because she's somewhere where it's warm.
It's not. You see what I have on? It's not warm. It's like 50 degrees and 40 degrees, whatever. It's not that warm in California.
Is it snowing though? It's
snowing in Big Bear.
Anyway, ignore her, y'all. Thank you so much for being with us this Saturday. We will be back in action next Saturday. And just to highlight what we're going to be talking about this year, January is Politics Month because we're leading up to it. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ramaswamy, Chris Christie, Joe Biden, the Israel-Palestine conflict. We are covering it all. We're going there and coming back. So y'all come back with us next Saturday and every Saturday after. We love y'all. And thank you for your continual support in this new year.
And as you all know, we have a new intro and outro that I just love. So anyway, y'all, thank you very much. Peace.